because whatever is getting implemented on the website directly impacts our client's performance, right, on organic search, right, on Google search results or any other search engine result pages, right? So it becomes really important for us that we always keep that balance between generative AI and human, strategic inputs. That is really, really important for us.
The voice search has becoming very popular nowadays. Do you think that ChatGPT or any other tools like that will assist voice AI to mature for Indian market? And are there any use cases or examples that you have come across, which is kind of helping us understand the future for voice search in India?
So no doubt that voice search is getting a lot of traction, and with the advent of this generative AI, the usage of voice search has really, has gained traction in the market, right? Um, at the same time, people are more exposed to these type of devices now, right? Whether it's voice search enabled devices. So it could be your smartphone, your smart tablet, smart TVs, smart speakers, right? And inbuilt systems in your cars, right? So users now have access to that, right? And with the busy life that people have these days, it is anyways going to gain traction, right? And the way generative AI has been helping, we discussed also, right? The way generative AI interact with a person is through conversational, in a conversational tone, right? So, and voice search is all about that, right? When you're searching through, when you're using these devices, it's always, you are asking some queries or you're asking them to take some action, right? So it is always conversational, right? And and generative AI or these AI tools are really good at, making those conversations, understanding what users are looking for, and give them that customized results, right? So we can for sure learn from these, generative AI tools, that for a particular query, what kind of results we are getting, right? What kind of, the way they are trying to highlight the data set, what kind of tone they are trying to use, right? Um, and at the same time, do our analysis at the same time and understand, okay, what kind of answers users are looking for, what is the intent actual that is out there in the market, right? And once we have the learnings from both the parts, right, we need to collaborate, the market research team and the content creators, right? They need to collaborate to a level where they actually create a customized content which is human centric, right? Which is directly addressing that pain point which an individual is looking for, right? So that is where generative AI will play a key role for us when it comes to optimizing our content, specifically to voice searches.
So you're saying that the strategy for voice search is going to be different than the strategy that you will typically have for a
Yes.
user entering.
Yes. We need to increase our horizon, look at more things that are out there, not just keeping it limited to set of our competitors, online or business competitors, or just looking at some specific non-AI tools. But it's an era where generative AI is picking up at a faster pace, and we need to look at the way these tools are interacting. Okay.
Got it. So, what are those ways where Sokrati has been preparing themselves in this space to foolproof the future?
Okay. So no doubt we have been catering to some of the really big clients in the market, right? And the best part of it is that when you're catering to such a big brands, that you need to be on top of the deliveries, the technology that you are using, so that you are able to reduce those turnaround times for your client, right? And give them faster results, because it's a really competitive space out there. So if you look at the way we have been able to do that, is our strategy team has been able to find those potential areas in which we can integrate generative AI and our work, day-to-day deliveries. And then we have been training our team on that a lot. Okay, how to efficiently use it, right? How to make sure that the work that we used to deliver in 60 minutes, that can be reduced under 30 minutes, right? So we have been doing that optimizations quite a lot, right? And it has impacted the reverberations of it has been that it has impacted an individual, the entire team, and the organization level. If you look at,
Got it. So far in this conversation, what I could sense, the tonality is that these technologies are beneficial, right? But I can give you numerous examples, right? These will also bring in lots of cons and the threats, right?
agree.
Do you think that if you weigh in, right, the pros versus the cons, what are your views on that?
So every technology that has come up until now, right? If you look at back in the past, right, it has always has that pros and cons, right? And generative AI, people have been a bit skeptical about it because it has threat on a larger level, where it has a threat of taking over human jobs and the way human thinks, and right. So those kind of threats are out there, right? But that is really far in the future, right? Depending on how we train these AI tools, right? On what kind of data sets we train them, how much power do we give them, right? So it completely depends on that. But if you look at the current scenario and the pace that we are moving at and the way we are growing, right? It has positive impacts, which we have already discussed, right? When it comes to threats, I would like to list some of them. One is like content quality. Now, since these AI tools have been able to create those customized content, there's a lot of potential that mass produced low quality content will be out there on the internet, right? And which will eventually challenge the quality of information that we are giving to the users, right? A. B, if people start over relying on this automation part, right, then that human strategic inputs will be missed out a lot, right? And at the end of the day, we are not catering to machines, but we are catering to humans, right? We have to keep our approach human centric, right? So on the basis of that, overutilization of this technology is also really gonna harm us in a really negative way, right? Third is competitive landscape. That is really going to change, right? With the especially for the companies or the industry that are really into niche market, right? The competition is going to be really high because people have access to now more information, right? Easier information. They are able to optimize content at a faster pace, give informations at a faster pace, right? So there the competition is going to be really high, and it will completely depend on that human strategic inputs, that how to position how they will be helping their clients to position their brands in the market, right? What kind of strategies, innovative strategies they need to come up with. So that is the part where human will be playing a major role, right? Then also, if you look at the threats part, there is a threat that if AI tools are being trained on a biased or biased set of data, where they have information related to a particular group, but they don't have at the same time information about the other group, right? Their views, what the challenges they face, right? So if we have this just case where they have just an information of one group, the results will be for that specific group only, right? The views, the ideas will be just focused on that one particular part, right? So that will be that is a threat, right? If these generative AI tools are not properly trained, they don't have that holistic approach to the topics, to the industries, right? To human interaction, human searches, right? Then these data sets or the rewards that we will be receiving from generative AI will be biased, right? And these tools at the same time have the capability on generating fake online reviews, right? So people might start pushing their products in order to improve sales, in order to improve user interaction. They will start pushing generative AI tools in a way where they are leaving out these negative reviews, not negative, but yeah, fake reviews, right? To push their online presence, right? So these are some of the threats, but if you look at the environment that we have been working in, and specifically SEO industry, it has been really, really dynamic, right? And these are the set of challenges that we have faced in the past with the black hat SEO practices and everything, right? And we have been able to overcome these challenges with really, really human-centric algorithms that these search engines have able to come up, right? So these threats we have, but I think that they won't be able to impact us in a negative way to a larger extent. We might face some setbacks for some time, right? But eventually, if you look at a bigger picture, if you look at a larger scale, it is going to have that positive effect.
So there has to be some fraud protection mechanism at our end when you devise SEO strategy.
Yes, exactly. Also, to address to the point that you mentioned, that a threat of where people might lose their job, right? The way I see it is, and the way I have experienced it is until now, is that people they haven't lost their jobs, but their role has changed. The human role that they have been playing is now of a subject matter expert based on the industry experience they hold, right? And being that player who can bring in those strategic inputs for their clients on the table, right? Instead of investing a lot of time on those analysis and data segregation and everything, they are able to focus more on that strategic part. And in the future, this will hold more value, right? Where you are acting as a subject matter expert for an industry, you actually understand the nerve of your customers in the industry, right? You have that strategic perspective with you, right? When you look at the data sets, when you look at industry trends, you can take those decisions. Okay, what is best for my client in this competitive space? Okay.
Got it. So last but not the least, can you give us some advice to the performance marketeers or advertisers who want to incorporate the generative AI strategies into their SEO practice?
When it comes to advices, before that, I would like to mention that this adaptation to this technology is really, really important for us, because this is the future, right? Any which way, generative AI will play a key role in the way we are working currently, right? So the first advice that I would like to give to my peers would be, let's start exploring this technology, right? It is here to help us to do much more things that we as an individual have ever thought of, right? It is going to empower us in a really, really good way, right? Where we are able to deliver value beyond human imagination, right? So start exploring this technology, right? Don't be fearful of AI taking over the job, right? As I mentioned previously, because people who are able to drive more value for their client in lesser time, right, will be eventually the people who will be taking up the positions, right? And people who are not able to collaborate with this generative AI will eventually lose job. So we need to understand, okay, what kind of expertise or qualities that we should have in order to be successful in a position, right? So it's not going to take our jobs, but eventually it will empower us to do better at what we do, right? Even the recent Harvard business study has shown that integration of generative AI and human intelligence had resulted into 40% boost in performance, right? And it is just a start of the generative AI, right? So it has a lot of potential. It's just that we need to adapt to this ever-changing environment, right? Third would be, I would say, that develop that strategic perspective that we have been talking about during our entire conversation, right? Because that is the key role that eventually we'll be playing in the longer run, right? Fourth would be develop that deep emotional intelligence, because at the end of the day we are catering to humans, whether through any means of marketing, we are catering to human, and there is a need for us to understand what human wants, right? And unless and until we develop that human intelligence, we develop that emotional intelligence within us, we won't be able to cater to our target audience, right? So Yeah, these are my advices to my peers who are looking at this new technology and are a bit skeptical about how it's going to take over the future.
Okay. In nutshell, people who don't use Gen AI will definitely be replaced with people who uses Gen AI.
Yes, that's for sure going to happen.
And the storytelling is going to be even more important.
Yes. That is the entire part of user journey. It's going to be right. The way we are telling our story, the way we are pitching our products and services to customers, right? The way we are able to solve their problems and challenges that they are facing, right? So it's all about. It's going to be that, and it's going to be an integration of human intelligence and generative AI. The future is that.
Great. Okay, so thank you so much, Aditya, for this insightful conversation. I'm sure our viewers would also like